Welcome to Jimmy and the Fatman. It's watching the football today. Collingwood versus Adelaide versus Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval. I actually had tickets to get there, but unfortunately, when they decided to jack the prices up to $880 each way, not paying that much money, but so you cost yourself a crowd. Look, glad because weather here in Melbourne's actually not too bad, and the weather in Adelaide looks absolutely shocking. Adelaide versus Collingwood. Adelaide 5 wins and 11 losses. Collingwood 11 wins, 5 losses. Collingwood won 7 in a row, gone for our 8th in a row. It's so where Collingwood is sitting 6th on the ladder. Yeah, Collingwood is sitting 6th on the ladder. Win this, they will jump inside the top 4, or depending on what happens to GWS Brisbane. So win this, they'll jump inside the top 4 to 5th, and then of course you've got Carlton versus Geelong tonight. That top 5 or 6 positions is really tight. So one loss puts others in the pack. So really important to win. In regards to the Capers, Collingwood has won its last 4 matches at the Adelaide Oval by an average of 6 goals. Look, I'm tipping Collingwood to win, but they've got a lot of outs tonight, this afternoon. So it's going to be really a terrific game. It's bucketing down raining, which is always the great evener. For Adelaide, Hinge, McAdam, Murphy in, Haitley, Crouch, Davis out. And for the Pies, Bianco, Moore and Johnson in. Quaynor, Adams and Tyler Brown, who was a medical sub, out. He's back. So he's fully out, and Ollie Henry is the medical sub for the Pies. And Ash Johnson playing his first game, and Scott Pendlebury playing his 350th game. So one starting his career, and one is actually at the pinnacle of games played for Collingwood. No other Collingwood players played 350 games, and look, Scott Pendlebury, I was there at his first game against Brisbane, and when Bucks had one of his song games, kicking 6 goals, when we beat our old enemy, new enemy, if you want to put it, but the ones who tormented us in all those grand finals. And Pendlebury's just gone on to look, some say arguably he is our greatest ever player. I still put Bucks slightly ahead of him, just simply because Bucks kicked more goals, particularly towards the end of his career, whereas Pendles, I don't even think he's kicked a goal this year, or he might have kicked 1 or 2. But yeah, so look, the Adelaide put on a lot of pressure, so Collingwood are going to want to have to put a lot of pressure, particularly today in the wet. You're going to want to be a pressure side. Play pressure side with wet weather footy. So look, I'm tipping Collingwood by 13 points. Hopefully we're not as sluggish as we were last week, because I don't think Adelaide will let us kick 5 to 2 points in the last quarter. Going for 8 in a row. Let's do it for cap. Alright? Adelaide versus Collingwood. I'll see you at quarter time. Collingwood by 13 points, I reckon. Close. So it's quarter time at the Adelaide Oval. Collingwood. So I went to see Collingwood 4-1-25, leading the Crows 3-20. Of course, as always, Adelaide come out firing, as most teams do against Collingwood, wanting to arrest what they did last week against the Hawks. But I mean, let's be honest, they were second to the most balls and just were trying to lay tackle after tackle after tackle, and then eventually, when you can't do that for constantly throughout the whole game, Collingwood being first to the ball most of the time started to get a bit more territory game, and actually we should have been more in front, particularly when umpires decide to umpire Jack anything differently to how they umpire everybody else. But that's just the way it is. For the goal kickers for the Crows, Murphy, Fogarty, Walker with the singles, and for the Pies, Johnson, Josh Dacos, Mychik and Sidebottom. In regards to disposals for the Pies, Nick Dacos with 11, Pendlebury 10, Sidebottom 9, Lipinski 7, and for the Crows, and for the Crows, let me press it. Laird with 11, Jones 7, Keys, Dawson, Saligo with 7. So Collingwood just more of the ball. Stats, Collingwood more of the ball, being more disposal efficiency. Adelaide 8 free kicks to 4. Some of those really contentious high free kicks. And 15 hit outs to 12. Collingwood 8 tackles inside 50 to 1. 17 inside 50s to 10. So yeah, look, if it keeps going like this, Collingwood are going to win, but look, it won't. Adelaide will hopefully keep coming. Well, that's what their supporters say, I should say. Collingwood, look, I'm really happy with how we're going. Adelaide came out firing. Pendlebury in his 350th, best on ground at the moment. Sidebottom kicked a brilliant goal. be nice if the umpires knew what too high was on Jack Ginnivan, because they're playing it for everybody else. So here we go. I'll see you at half time. Collingwood by 5 points. So half time at the Adelaide Oval, and complete reversal that quarter. Look, I've got to give credit to Adelaide. I mean, look, I saw that first quarter as Adelaide were just happy just to be seen as a hard-working team, and were happy to just lay tackles, and I thought we'd eventually grind them. So let's have a look how the first 10 minutes of that quarter went. And then look, Adelaide just started getting their own ball and kicked 4 goals to 2 that quarter to lead 7-6 48 to 6-3 39. Adelaide kicking 4-4 to Collingwood's 2-2 in regards, and kicking the last 3 goals of the quarter. In regards to the goal kickers for the Crows, Walker and Fogarty have 2. Thilthorpe, McAdam and Murphy with the singles for the Pies. Johnson, Cameron, Dacos, Sidebottom, Mychek, McCreary, all with singles. In regards to disposals of the Pies, and Whisper has 16, Pendles 15, Cameron again continuing on his brilliant year with 12, Lipinski, Bianco, Carmichael, Sidebottom 10, and for the Crows, Laird 17 with 11 tackles, Dawson 13, Jones 12, Berry 11 with 12. He's got more tackles than possessions. 11 possessions with 12 tackles. Keys, Soligo with 11, and Thilthorpe with 10. So yeah, that's how they're going in regards to the stats. Collingwood 5 more possessions. Adelaide 4 more free kicks, so that stayed similar to the first quarter. Adelaide 11 more uncontested possessions, but also are winning the. How's that work? How could you be leading the contested and uncontested possessions, but leading? Anyway, I don't know how that works. They've had 1 more hit at Adelaide. Collingwood 7 more clearances. So look, it's inside 50s 27 to 25. It's very contested. It's very contested. Adelaide they're just looking a bit more polished at the moment, particularly. Well, the last 15 minutes of that quarter was just all Adelaide. They did the last 15 minutes, what they did in the first 15 minutes. They just took advantage of their quarter already. No, yeah, they just took advantage of their opportunities. So that quarter, let's have a look. So Adelaide won the disposal count 82 to 80. Contested possessions were even, 32 each. Adelaide laid 27 tackles to 26, and they won the inside 50s 15 to 10. So there you go, 15 inside 50s to 10, with what they kicked 4-4. So 15 inside 50s, 8 scoring shots, 50% inside 50 rate. Look, I think the Pies just need to look. The defence needs to play better. They're not defending very well, and we need to be a bit more tight around the ball. Adelaide looked to be able to spread. The last 15 minutes of that quarter, they looked to be able to spread from the stoppage a bit too quickly. Our pressure seemed to drop off the last 15 minutes of the quarter. So look, I don't really want another bloody tight game. We're not going to win them all. And look, considering, GWS are ahead of Brisbane. So Brisbane lose, so if Brisbane lose this, we'll go ahead of Brisbane if we win. So that's a guaranteed position jump. And depending what happens with Carlton, it's potentially a top 4 spot. So look, still plenty of time. We still have to win first. Look, I still tip us by 13 points, but look, we're not going to want to be too much further behind at 3/4 time, because I can't see Adelaide letting us do what North Melbourne let us do to them last week. So yeah, Adelaide by 9 points. Collingwood got out to a 10-point lead early in that second quarter, and then Adelaide kicked the next 3 goals. In regards to play for Collingwood, let's have a look at the stats. Players that need to look at that. Johnson looks a find. I'm actually really happy with him. Look, Hoskin Elliott's had a dirty game. Cox hasn't really done a lot, but look, it's not really whether. Howard Moore, they need a lift. They definitely need a lift. And Josh Dacos is having a mare. 6 possessions up until half time for someone who's a potentially high possession getter. See it 3/4 time. Well, in a rarity for this year, Collingwood are in a close game. It's Adelaide by 3 points at 3/4 time. Adelaide kicked 3-2 that quarter to Collingwood 4-2. But Collingwood 20 inside 50s to 9. Just giving away soft goals. Have 9 inside 50s and to kick 3 goals. Just frustrating, particularly those last couple when they got up to a 16-point lead. It looked dangerous, but then, you know, we managed to kick the last 2 goals, and Josh Dacos really should have kicked that last one that would have put us in front at three-quarter time, and I reckon that might have been the difference, because, you know, going in behind at three-quarter time is a lot different. But, you know, hopefully this Adelaide team will be more of a defensive mindset, because they've been very attacking, and hopefully they'll do what North Melbourne did and play very defensive. So let's have a look for the game. So the goals for the Crows: Walker has 3, Murphy, Fogarty. Oh, hang on, my apologies. Murphy, Fogarty, 2, Thilthorpe, McAdam, Hinge with the singles. For the Pies, 2 to Mychek, including the one that got ripped off him, which was not a free kick. Johnson, Ginnivan, Pendlebury, Dacos, Carmichael, Cameron, Sidebottom, McCreary with the singles, and of course you had their 50-metre penalty with the Adelaide play. It's frustrating when you don't give away free kicks to Jack Ginnivan, because supposedly he's ducking the head, and then you give away 50 for a player who clearly dove, but it is what it is. When it comes to the disposals for the Pies, Whisper 29, Pendlebury 22, Lipinski 21, Carmichael, geez, isn't he been good, 19, Bianco's been good on 18, Maynard, Cameron, Sidebottom on 15, and for the Crows, we've got Laird 22 with 13 tackles, Keys 19, Dawson 17, Berry Jones 16. Regards to stats, Collingwood now a lot more of the ball. They really took control of the game that quarter, so they're going to want to get a bit more bang for their buck. The free kick count's now 18-17. Collingwood getting 3 more free kicks that quarter, and a lot more uncontested possessions. So, yeah, look, Collingwood just dominated that quarter. It really should be a lot more in front than what they should have. 14 more inside 50s, 48-34. So Adelaide are going at 53% inside 50. So Collingwood are really going to want to have to stop Adelaide from scoring when they get inside 50, and then increase their scoring when they go inside 50. You know, that quarter, Collingwood 30 more possessions, 5 more contested possessions, they 10 more tackles, and had 12 more inside 50s, 21-9, but only went 4 goals to 3. Adelaide 33% success rate at goal, Collingwood 19% success rate at goal. So look, it's three-quarter time. Collingwood, like I said, we need those players to lift, and look, they didn't that quarter, so they're going to want to lift. They're going to want to lift this quarter. Let's have a look. I mean, we've had our ones. Cox, he's had a bit of a down game. McCreary, he needs to lift. Noble, he's been okay, but we need more out of him. Ginnivan as well. Look for a big quarter from him. See it full time. Hopefully, we're singing the song. So, surprise, surprise. Collingwood were involved in a thriller. You know, I think I made the same joke at three-quarter time. But yeah, Collingwood definitely are trying to give us all early cut rests. But look, you know what? In the end, we're winning. Just a shame. I don't want to say shame because it's not fair. But a shame that Brisbane Lions ended up pummeling GWS in the second half. Because yeah, we would have been in 4th place right now. But it is what it is. I mean, you fully expect. You know, it was a very important win. Collingwood winning by 5 points in the end, 14-7-91 to 13-8-86. And look, that was a rip snorter of a game. Loads of tackles, and still a very high scoring game, surprisingly. Scott Pendlebury, what a game for his 350th game. He was best on ground until Nick Dacos did what he did. You got to give Whisper his 3 votes. Jack Crispy's gone through a bit of a quiet spell, and Nick Dacos has pretty much just stepped in his position and looked doing really well. And the last quarter, Collingwood kicking 4-2 to 3 straight, considering they were down by 3 points at three-quarter time. In fact, they were down twice in the third quarter by more than 2 goals. In fact, 3 times in this game they were down by more than 2 goals. Down by 20 points at one stage in the first, after the Crows blew out of the blocks. Then they went back up to a 2-goal lead at the start of the third, and then back out to a 2-goal 15-point lead, 16-point lead towards the end of the third, until Carmichael kicked a great goal. He kicked his first goal for his career, and Scott Pendlebury kicked his first goal for the season, and yeah, he did really well. And then kicking the first few goals of the last quarter, put it away. And then Adelaide, of course, as they did all game, gave Collingwood a big scare with one of the worst 50-metre penalties you're ever likely to see, considering Taylor Walker had the ball in his hands and Jack Ginnivan got penalised. There's something needs to be done about this umpiring against Jack Ginnivan, because they're blatantly cheating against Jack Ginnivan now. He should have got 4 or 5 free kicks, and they didn't pay them, but they're quick to pay it against him. It's like the umpires don't like him now, and it's a disgrace. If you get taken high and you have not ducked for the ball, it is a high tackle. That's the rule. If you shrug your shoulder or look for contact, it's still a free kick. We were told that for years from Joel Duckwood. Okay, that's why he has the nickname Joel Duckwood. But now, because it's another person doing it, the AFL have created this monster, and now they don't know what to do with it. Well, they don't know what to do with it. It's Jack Ginnivan's done something that he doesn't know. No, pay the free kick. You either outlaw it and say, if you lead with the tackle, with the head, and don't duck, it's still 50. Free kick. Because if you duck into the tackle, it's 50. I keep saying 50. It's a free kick. But if you go like that or shrug the shoulder, it's not a free kick. No. I stuff this up again. It's not play on. It's a free kick. If you go like this or like this, it's a free kick. The umpires have made it hard on themselves because they're gutless and too scared to make a decision. You know what? If you end up paying Jack Ginnivan 7 free kicks in the forward 50 in a game, because those 7 free kicks are there, that's just the luck of the draw. It's not up to him to tackle himself properly. It's up to the opposition to realise that's what he's going to do and for them to go low. And then if he goes lower, where he's ducking, you then pay holding the ball. And that's the frustrating thing, is that he's looking for the high contact. He gets the high contact. They don't pay the free kick, and then he doesn't get pinged holding the ball. It's a disgrace. It's some of the worst umpiring. The umpiring's getting worse and worse. It's the first time I've mentioned publicly, I think, on this show, how bad the umpiring's been, because I've been really reluctant to call out umpiring. But when I see a 19-year-old get picked on week in, week out, it's a disgrace. Anyway, back to the game. So let's have a look at the action. Taylor Walker turned back the clock-ish, considering some of a couple of his goals were just horrible free kicks. Walker kicked 5, Murphy 3, Fogarty 2, and singles to Thilthorpe, McAdam, and Hinge. And for the Pies, Whisper kicked 3, Johnson on debut kicked 2, as did Mychek, Elliott, McCreery, Ginnivan, Pendlebury, which is beautiful captain's goal. Carmichael, Cameron, and Sidebottom with the singles. And look, I said that Cox had to lift that quarter, and he did. It was terrific that quarter. It was 17 hit outs that quarter. Well done. It was just absolutely terrific. In regards to who else, as I said, had to lift, outlook, our defense was much better that quarter. You can't fault them. Even Trey Rusco, he played his part. Although only laying one tackle, and Darcy Moore also we laid. I'll get back to you though. How many tackles did Collingwood lay? Collingwood lay 126 tackles. 126 tackles. So who were the main tackle numbers for the Pies? So Lipinski, midfielders, Lipinski 13, fantastic, 28 possessions, 13 tackles. Pendlebury 12, Pendlebury and Maynard 12 tackles, 29 to go with his tackles. 29 possessions and a goal to go with Pendlebury's tackles. Maynard 12, Crisp 10, Carmichael 8, Sidebottom, McCreery 7, Bianco, Elliott 6, Mychek 6, well done, and Whisper 5 with Cameron with 5, Howell 5, Hoskin, Elliott 5. Rusco, Backman only had 1 tackle, that's what it is. Murphy 1, Moore not laying a tackle. It was one of Moore's quieter games, to be honest with you. He played more of a negative role today. Whether he's still a bit unsure about his foot, I'm not sure. Collingwood 57 more possessions at the end of the game. They were just as effective. They ended up finishing 10 behind in the uncontested, but smashed them 10 behind in the contested, but much better uncontested. Took 6 more marks. Only 1 contested mark for the game for the Pies. Look how it came in that last quarter. By Darcy Moore. Adelaide took 8. Collingwood took 13 more uncontested marks. Adelaide took 9 marks inside 50. Collingwood ended up winning the hit-outs in the end. They smashed them in the last quarter. Did Collingwood 2 more clearances, 11 more clangers. Like I said, laid 19 more tackles, 21 more tackles inside 50, had 12 more inside 50s. I think Adelaide won the inside 50 count that quarter, so to win 14-7 to 13-8. We look at the finish. Disposals. Collingwood 20 more possessions in the last quarter. Adelaide 5 more possessions. Collingwood 7 more tackles. Adelaide had 3 more interchanges, 2 more inside 50s. Collingwood kicking 1 more goal. Collingwood their best goal success from inside 50s that quarter, 31%, as opposed to Adelaide 20, which was their lowest for the game. And that's why Collingwood won in the end. So look, you give your votes. Like I said, I have to give my 3 votes to Whisper. He was amazing. 25 kicks, 15 hand passes, 5 tackles, 3 marks, 3 goals. It was absolutely terrific. You wouldn't think it's his first year. Sneaky for the Brownlow. Sneaky for a Brownlow. I give Pendlebury 2 votes for game 300. He kicked the goal to put us back in the game. Laid 12 tackles, 29 possessions, 12 tackles, and a goal. Lipinski was enormous. 28 possessions, 13 tackles. Carmichael's great. 24 possessions, 8 tackles, and a goal. Josh Dacos really had a big second half. He finished with 24. Sidebottom's in a good vein of form. So look, we had a really, really lot of good contributors in that game. But so 3 votes to Dacos, 2 votes to Pendlebury. Who am I going to give my 1 vote? So you can either give it to Carmichael, or Lipinski. I'm going to give them both votes. So I'm going to give Lipinski 1 vote. I mean, he laid 13 tackles and he was ginormous. 28 possessions, 13 tackles. And Carmichael, 24 possessions, 8 tackles, and a goal. So that's my 3-2-1. 3 votes to Whisper, 2 votes to Pendlebury, and a double 1 vote to Lipinski and Carmichael. Look, unfortunately, that was just our top 4 position getters as well, but it was just the way it was. We didn't have a standout forward, didn't really have a standout defender. Except for Maynard, who laid 12 tackles too. Do I give one to Maynard? I'll give one to Maynard too, because he was terrific in defence. He always tries so hard. So 3 to Dacos, Josh. So 3 to Nicky Dacos, 2 to Pendlebury, and 1 each to Lipinski, Carmichael, and Maynard. So there you have it. Collingwood winning by 5 points. As we look at the ladder, Collingwood now sitting in 6th position. I don't think they haven't updated. How long is the app? They haven't updated the app for today's game. Collingwood in 5th position, I should say, because Brisbane beat GWS. So it's all up to Carlton now. If Carlton win, they will go into 5th. If Collingwood win, if Carlton lose, then they will stay in 6th. So it's Carlton, Collingwood fighting. So next week. North Melbourne beating the Kangas. I'm guessing 3 straight to 2-5. Yep, there it happens. Kicking 2 quick goals. Let's have a look. So next week, should we look? So then Geelong still have their game to go. Melbourne still have their game to go. So we won't focus on that. Brisbane play. Fremantle play tonight. Fremantle play Sydney tonight. There you go. Brisbane play Gold Coast at the Gabba, and Collingwood play Essendon at the MCG. That's going to be a huge game. And look, Carlton haven't played yet, but they play GWS next week at Marvel Stadium. There it is. Collingwood sitting in 5th position at the moment, waiting on the result of the Geelong Carlton game to see if they stay there. We're now 3 games inside the top 8 with 5 games to go. With 3 games in the top 8, with 3 games on the top 8 from 9th. So there you have it. That's it for me from Jimmy the Fat Man today. I'm going to be putting up some new streaming reaction videos now. I've got some new software, so looking forward to bringing you more fantastic content in the meantime as well. And also maybe even do my first one tomorrow. If you've got any really good suggestions, Taste Test Tuesday, we love your suggestions. Maybe to eat something a bit more healthier. Funny thing is, we actually decided we're going to eat apples next week. Okay, so look, thank you very much. Collingwood by 5 points. Again, I'll see you next time on Jimmy and the Fat Man. Have a great weekend from my family to yours. Peace.